Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and we are back with week 7 of the WBE. Of course, I'm the coach of the Melbourne Rotoms, and this week we're up against Steve, the coach of the Milwaukee Sawsbucks. There are only 2 weeks left in the season, including this week, so it's a really close race for the playoffs. I think if we win here, we're going to be in a really good position to make it. If not, then we'll probably have to win that last matchup in the last week. So yeah, I think Steve's brought pretty much everything I've expected him to bring here, so nothing too surprising. The strategy this week is to basically set up Gengar. We're running a Nasty Plot GMAX set, and Rotom sets up screens with Light Clay and Reflect. With Light Clay it has Reflect and Light Screen. And so we've got a bunch of things to, deal with certain Pokemon. So for example, we're actually running Mold Breaker Excadrill this week, which is to deal with the Mimikyu specifically, because if we knock out Mimikyu, you see like he literally has no resists to Ghost. So if we get a Nasty Plot off or a Max Ooze off, Gengar might just be able to sweep through. So, as always, the question is who we want to lead with here, and I think I don't mind Rotom. We can immediately set up a screen, get a Volt Switch off, put on some pressure early on. We've got 2 Rapid Spinners in this matchup as well, so that deals with his Copperajah. So I'm thinking Rotom here. Could go Hippowdon as well, I guess, but I think Rotom's like a decent pivot. You can see that Steve's team is like pretty defensive for the most part. So the goal was to get in against something like Gengar has a decent matchup against, like the Vaporeon, namely. I think one thing I'm going to have to watch out for is definitely a Selgor, which of course can Spikes, but also can go for Final Gambit. I actually used the Selgor in the last season of WBE, so yeah, excited to play Steve, and as always, if you guys enjoyed the WBE, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. Let's get into it. Yeah, if we win here, I think we're going to be in a really good spot to make the playoffs, and even if not, like, I'm just looking forward to having a good game, and we're actually playing this a bit late because Steve was celebrating him getting a new job, so congrats to him. It's super exciting. So he's going to lead Appleton, okay. I mean, I feel like this is probably going to want to set up on us. We can just set up a screen here immediately. Like, I can just set up a light screen, honestly, and then Volt Switch out. I kind of don't mind doing that, honestly. I want to scout out for what he goes for. Gonna go for Leech Seed into Rotom. Okay. So probably predicting a switch out there, I would guess. This team is pretty physically oriented as well. I mean, we could just get the second screen up here with Reflect and then Volt Switch out this next turn. So let's just go for that. Gonna get both screens up, which is pretty ideal early on, honestly. And he's just gonna Dragon Pulse. Okay, that's fine. See how much it does. Yeah, not much at all with screens. So I think we're going to Volt Switch out here. Yeah, there's really no other play to go for. The question is who we want to go into, of course. So I want to just double check all of Appleton's moves in this meantime, just because I don't know exactly what it wants to do. I mean, Recover, Apple Acid, Dragon Pulse. So honestly, it might not be a bad time to just go into G-Max Gengar immediately. It just seems weird because this is so early on in the game. Could also go into Hippowdon, but I guess I should probably wait for the Gengar setup. So maybe getting Hazards up early is good. See, I'll go into Hippowdon to set up the Sand, which then paves the way for my Colossal. Maybe I should have just bit the bullet and gone into Gengar, but I don't know my opponent's full movesets yet. I think the Selgor scares me as well. He's just going to go for Leech Seed this time. That's fine. I mean, yeah, if he's physically defensive with Apple Acid, like, it's not really that much of a concern, honestly. Now, switching Hippowdon against Appleton could seem a little sketch, but with screens up, I don't think we should take too much damage. So, I'm just going to double check. Yeah, I'm just going to set up rocks here. Or faster, too. Okay. Hippo equals faster. He's going to Apple Acid, yep. Does do a fair amount, but honestly, that's not too bad. So we know 3 of the full moves. This is a relatively standard Appleton, honestly. So, we're not in a bad spot, but maybe I should have just brought in Gengar earlier on. I'm still not sure about that. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a spinner or a defogger, so I feel like we can just really set up with hazards right now. I'm just going to go out into Colossal and try to start getting spikes off. Like, his only rapid spinner is Hitmontop, which he surprisingly didn't bring, and his only defogger is Charizard, which he also didn't bring. So this is like max HP Spit F Colossal. Just going to go for Apple Acid. It's not going to do too much to us. That does literally nothing. Okay, not bad. So we've gotten one layer of spikes up already. One thing that's surprising is... Oh, he didn't bring Gothitelle. That's actually really good for us too, I think. I'm just gonna spikes here, yeah. I don't know, I feel like Rocks and Spikes is just so good against this entire team, and I want to whittle away at everything so that I can just set up with Gengar and win the game. I just don't want to bring out Gengar quite yet without knowing Mimikyu and Acelgor's full sets yet. But with screens up, we're able to get all these hazards up with little problem, so... Yeah, it's kind of been a slow start to this game. I still think maybe I could... I just didn't want to switch in Gengar and take, like, unnecessary damage. Ideally, I get a free switch in into him. And then I can set up a Nasty Plot or just G-Max away. So we've gotten our Spikes up. Our Stealth Rock up. We can also go for a Rapid Spin to boost our speed, either with this guy or with X-Control in the back. He's just going to stay in. Okay. I hope I'm not, like, missing something obvious here. I mean, is there anything on this team that can get rid of hazards easily? I just don't really see it. Maybe I'm missing something obvious here, but, I mean, I'm not taking any damage right now, so I'm content to just keep going for spikes. I don't know, I'm just surprised he's not switching out here. I guess the question is, who do you even switch out to? I feel like I'm missing something obvious here. Like, what's the game plan for him right now? Because I'm just... I mean, 3 layers of spikes and stealth rocks? That's, like, godlike. And then I can just go back out into Rotom and set up screens again. I think I'm going to do that after this turn. Actually, maybe switching out into Rotom now isn't bad. Actually, let me just check my screens turns. 1 turn of Light Screen. We're at -2 Speed Def. Yeah, going out into Rotom might not be bad. And we're faster with Hippo against this guy as well. I'm gonna go back out into Rotom. Set up Light Screen and then I think Volt Switch out into Gengar. I don't really care about that 3rd layer too much here. Just gonna Dragon Pulse. I'm guessing Recover is the last move. That would make sense. But the screens are really paying off right now. Just gonna set up a second Light Screen here. This is one long game already. Like, we haven't done any damage yet, but like our whole goal is to get set up right now. And I don't know, maybe I played too carelessly. I'm just looking at it, and the only 2 ways to get rid of hazards are Hitmontop and Charizard. So unless I'm missing something here, which I totally could be, because I'm a noob in singles. I don't know. That's like pretty hype. Reflect wears off, so we might want to set that up as well. It's not a bad idea, I think. Yeah. Because Appleton can KOs, he can't KOs here anyway, so then we can just Volt Switch now. Okay. Just gonna Dragon Pulse. Yep. This is not how I expected this game to play out, quite honestly, but I'll take it. Now we finally go... I think we'll just go ahead into Gengar this time. I mean, we've got all our hazards up now. We've got screens as well, so Gengar's honestly in a prime position to potentially just sweep. Okay. Yeah, let's go out into Gengar. I gotta be careful, though, because Gengar is my main win con. So obviously I'm bringing it out relatively early. He's gonna Apple's Acid, which shouldn't do much at all. Yeah, okay. I mean, he has no switch-ins to Ghost. I would like to get a Nasty Plot off first if possible. It just allows him to get a free switch-in. So this is a decent time to not... But I kind of don't want to Gigantamax yet, because I think I could save it for the late game, honestly. Do you really want to save this for the late game, if possible? What I'm worried about is like Scarf Mimikyu, basically. Or a Cellgore coming in. Yeah, I think I'm actually not going to Gigantamax, and I'm just going to click Sludge Wave here. A Dragon Pulse shouldn't do that much to us anyway. And, okay, he has Poison Berry, so that makes sense. Might have KO'd with Gigantamax. It's my first time even seeing the name of that attack. If we get crit here, that would make this really bad. Oh, that just made this game so much harder than it needed to be. Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, I got lucky in the other weeks. I mean, that was my bad for not Gigantamaxing. I think the risk versus reward there was still worth it. Oh my god. Okay. Let's not tilt. We can still easily win this. Man, does that suck. I know Steve's gotten kind of unlucky, and I've had my RNG in this throughout the course of the league, so yeah. Shame, because Gengar was so good against this team. It was my fault for not Gigant. I didn't want to Gigantamax without knowing the full moveset, but yeah. Alright, let's just go for Iron Head here. We can still win this, though. We can definitely still win this. It's just like our main win con is out of, like, not in the game anymore, which sucks. I knew it was coming, too. Alright, he's gonna bring on Sandaconda. He's gonna take a lot of damage here. Probably max HP and defense. Yep, it's leftovers. Oh my god, I can't believe that. I totally called it too. That's hilarious. I don't think he has a great answer to Jellicent. Well, I'm just gonna switch out into Jellicent here. Because Excadrill is our only other way of really dealing damage, right? I think risk versus reward eyes, yeah, I can't risk getting crit there, so I think I should just Gigantamax and go for any attack. Max Poison is good because I get the special attack increase. And with the screens up, I should be able to take any attack from anything in the back anyway, so... yeah, maybe I try to get a little too tricky. Because, like, Dragon Pulse is still doing a lot of damage there anyway. He's just gonna Step Rocks. That's fine, we can Rapid Spin that away pretty easily with anything. We can still definitely win this. It just sucks because, like, Gengar made the matchup so easy. But... like I said, I've gotten lucky in this league thus far, so can't really complain about that. He doesn't really have a great answer into Will-O-Wisp. Like, I think Jellicent has... his team is just so defensive, that's the thing, right? And, like, if we force switch outs, that's great. So Sandaconda has... Rocks. I'm sure he's going to be a Wish Passer with Vaporeon. We got to make our moves pretty fast, because I think this game is going to go on for a very long time. It's just going to EQ, that's fine. Yeah, that does nothing. Alright, we actually hit a Will-O-Wisp, which is shocking. So that's nice. Okay. You know he's leftovers. I should have just Gigantamaxed, man. That sucks. It's my bad. I don't want to reveal Hex yet. So I think I'll just Scald here. He doesn't really want to switch into a Scald. He's actually going to swap out. This is where, I mean, having Rocks and Stealth Rocks is so nice right now. He's going to bring out Vaporeon. Okay, that makes sense. He's probably going to try to Wish Pass into something. Yeah, it's going to heal back from Scald. So nice play there. So Vaporeon's just going to be a problem now to deal with offensively because we don't have great offense against it. I should have played more carefully with... yeah, okay. We're pretty Vaporeon weak at this point. That's my other concern. I think I'm going to Will-O-Wisp it. Hex can actually put in a lot of work against this, damage-wise. He's actually just going to Shadow Ball. Okay, interesting. And gets a special defense drop. We get Cursed Body, actually, which is huge. Because he can't do much damage to us now. We get Will-O-Wisp as well. Okay. Our Excadrill's our win con now, especially with Mold Breaker. You can still just beat everything, I think. I'm just going to recover here. This might end up being like a 50-minute game, man. I could see it going to time, too. So we got to make our moves fast. Just got Wish, yeah. It's not surprising at all. This is the... I like Gengar to come in against this Vaporeon. Yeah. What I wanted to do was for Gengar to just knock out the Appleton normally, but yeah, the risk versus reward in that trade-off just isn't worth it when that's my win con. I mean, he could stay in here, I guess, and go for like a Scald. It's just I'm so weak to water here. But Rotom should survive a Scald, so I think we'll go out into it. I think this game's gonna honestly come down to timer at this rate. It really feels like that. Which would suck. But I'm making my moves decently fast. Alright, he's gonna swap out Appleton. Oh, he actually goes into a Selgor. That's kind of cool. So, you take all the rocks and spikes damage, but the Wish just heals you all the way back to full, basically. Could have gone for a Will-O-Wisp there. That might have been more optimal. Okay. I think we give up the Rotom here. So he doesn't know I'm Mold Breaker Excadrill, which is also another thing, right? I'm worried this thing has Focus Blast and he's gonna hit it. What is that? Throat Spray? Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay. Throat Spray. I'm gonna go out on a Colossal and then hard switch into... Or sorry, Hippowdon and then hard switch into Colossal. Okay. Yeah, that's relatively safe, I think. I'm just really worried about this Vaporeon. I don't have great damage for it. We lost our two best answers against it offensively. Yep. We should take this alright, I think, even at +1. Okay. Let's see if he has Focus. I feel like he probably does. If he has Focus Blast, we might just be screwed, honestly. I assume that KOs, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to miss Rock Blast. I guess we just Flare Blitz. If I don't bring Gengar out, who do I bring out? Oh, he's got Mud Shot. That's cool. That's a really good tech. Okay. I'm gonna go out on an Excadrill. We'll see if he, I feel like Focus Blast is probably his last one. He actually sees the Mold Breaker. I forgot about that, yeah. It's obviously not ideal. I'm not sure Iron Head KOs. I should actually do this calc. Excadrill against a Selgor. Actually, I'm pretty sure it does KO. Yeah. Alright, he probably has Focus Blast, so he's gonna have to go for it. Oh, yeah, and he hits too. I just really threw this by not with the Gengar. God, that sucks so much. That's just my fault, man. That's just 100% on me. We were in such a good position, too. I think Gengar was the right thing to bring out. I think I just needed a Gigantamax. I got greedy. We just lose to the Selgor now, yeah. That's so on me, guys. I'm sorry. This was I think a really good matchup for us too if we don't lose Gengar like that, and I just needed a Gigantamax to consider the chance of a crit there. Okay. Yeah, we don't have any way to beat this now. I mean, it just sweeps us. Maybe just going regular Sand Excadrill would have been better here, just so we had one other offensive, member on the team. So, yeah, like I said, I can't complain because I got pretty lucky against Dan and Uzi. We crit the Skull. Do we bird? No. Yeah, that's really bad for our differential, too, which is so frustrating. That's just my bad, though. Like, it's 100% on me. Had a game plan. Looked like we were in a great spot to execute it, too. But had to Gigantamax for the chance of the crit there, even though we didn't know our opponent's full team there. It's funny because I wanted to go for Nasty Plot, too. And if I had Nasty Plot there and get crit, I also lose. So the only correct play is Gigantamax attack. Good game, Steve. He brought a cool team, super defensive, and once you break through my main offensive mon, which is the... Like, I think Banded Excadrill might have just been better here, because he didn't have great switches into EQ. But because the eggs were, like, the Mimikyu, or sorry, the Gengar here, was brought, or the what was I going to say? The Excadrill was Mold Breaker specifically to counter the Mimikyu, because once that faints, Gengar just beats the whole team. So... yeah, we ended up losing 6-0, but this game could have been so much closer, honestly. But that's what happens, yeah. Props to this Selgor set, that was really cool. I also, yeah, I thought I was safe in front of it, but Mud Bomb, I think, was a really, really cool tech. So, good game, Steve. That's kind of what happens when you rely on a strategy too much, and I think, like, the strategy was really good. But I don't think I should have brought it as early as I did. I just didn't know who else to bring in front of Appleton. Oh, that's so bad for our differential, so RIP. I think doing some post-game reflection on that, even if Steve, like, doesn't crit us there, I think we honestly still probably lose to a Selgor alone, because if you look at what we had in the back, we had nothing to outspeed Excadrill, because I ended up bringing Mold Breaker Excadrill. So, that's a loss that, honestly, I don't feel bad about, because it taught me a lot of things. I think, first of all, such a smart decision on Steve's end to bring the Throat Spray variant of a Selgor. I like, one, discounted a Selgor in, like, team building, honestly, and I didn't think it was a very big threat. And originally, the guys in the team building group, were thinking, okay, Sand Rush, and then Mold Breaker was thrown out. I was like, Mold Breaker is such a good idea. Like, it counters Mimikyu. I absolutely loved it, and I think it would have been so good, too. But a Selgor, the thing is, like, just comes in and sweeps, right? So, like, even if he doesn't crit us, we get the knockout probably onto the Appleton the next turn. We've taken probably 60% from the 60% from the Dragon Pulse, and then like 2 Life Orb procs as well, right? So then what does Gengar do at that point? It's in KO range from a Shadow Sneak from Mimikyu or an Selgor. So I think I still would have honestly just gotten swept by a Selgor, other than if he misses like a, like an Earthquake, or sorry, not misses an Earthquake, if he misses a Focus Blast into Excadrill, which actually could have happened still in this game and would have made things a lot more interesting, I think, because then we knock out the Selgor, and then Excadrill 2 KOs everything on this, the opposing team. Ironhead also just knocks out the Mimikyu outright, obviously ignoring Disguise, but notwithstanding, I think, like, a Selgor single-handedly beat my entire team, and I just, like, did not expect it to be able to sweep through. A Mud Bomb was really cool. Didn't know I had access to that. The whole Throat Spray combination was brilliant. So, quite frankly, I think we still would have lost this even if we, bypass the crit there. Even if we Gigantamax and bypass the crit, quite frankly, like, I still think it's a really tough time. I guess if we Gigantamax, then we take less damage from the Life Orb. We get the, not the special attack increase matters. But we still have multiple turns of screens, and then we knock out the Appleton, and then, like, we're probably not in KO range from a Mud Bomb or from Mimikyu. I talked to him afterwards, and he was a Ghost Resist Mimikyu. So the problem is, once Mimikyu comes out, what do I do as Gengar, right? Screens are up, but it's still a 2-hit KO onto us. So, and I have to worry about Swords Dance as well, and Trick Room as well, so... I don't know. I think, like, Gengar needed to come out later, but I didn't know how to bring it out later because I had nothing to deal with the Appleton. So I think, if anything, maybe trading one of my defensive walls for a way to break through his walls. I think, like, Frostlass could have been interesting to deal with Appleton specifically. I thought Drampa was also could be an interesting pick, especially with, like, an Assault Vest, which actually maybe could have helped us out in this matchup. But I think the biggest thing was just a normal Sand Rush Excadrill would have given us a better fighting shot. So, yeah. Crit was unfortunate, but in the long run, I actually think Steve wins this matchup anyway, because he prepped and just brought a really, really cool set. And I was like, oh, we should just win with Spikes and Stealth Rock at this point because everything's taking so much damage. But as you also saw, we didn't have a way to break through Vaporeon. And by not having... I mean, Excadrill actually two-shots Vaporeon, even max HP, max defense. But, you know, you can't rely on Excadrill to carry when we can't knock out a Selgor. Like, that was the big thing. Plus, he had something else that outsped it in the Mimikyu. So I think one thing that I definitely underestimated going into this week was the fact that Steve's team, like, looked really slow on paper. And it is for the most part, but, you know, Mimikyu and a Selgor can outspeed pretty much all of my team. Other than Gigantamax Gengar, which is obviously really frail. So I needed to prep better around those two Pokemon specifically, and I think Sandrush goes back to Sandrush Excadrill. The Mold Breaker idea I think is really cool, and originally the Excadrill was Sandrush, and then we changed it to Mold Breaker, and I thought it was such a good idea, honestly, but maybe a little bit too niche, because you're gonna have to be in a position where Mimikyu is out against Excadrill, and that seems hard. I guess you'd have to switch out the Mimikyu into... You'd have to switch out the Gengar into Mimikyu. So I think like Scarf Mold Breaker also maybe could have provided more utility against... I don't know if that outspeeds a Selgor, actually. I'm just ranting right now, but I'm just thinking of ways I could have improved in this. If we go Jolly Excadrill with Scarf, we can outspeed. So Jolly Mold Breaker, I think Scarf Excadrill was probably the move here. If we want to go Mold Breaker. I'm curious how much that does against a Selgor. Like, he had taken, what, like 20% or so? So... Iron Head from this Excadrill. If he has no bulk on a Selgor, it's like a 44% chance to KO, 1-hit KO. But he's already taken damage, so Iron Head does get that KO. So, yeah, I think if I want to run Mold Breaker, I think Choice Scarf was probably better. And if I want to, and Sandrush probably would have just provided more utility overall. And ultimately, like I said, I relied too much on one set, and that's kind of the problem in Draft League. That's actually kind of the problem I faced in the last WBE as well, where I had a really hyper offensive team, so I typically relied on like Kartana, and it didn't work out very well because you have such a frail Pokemon. It's relatively easy to counter in Draft League, and Kartana would just get absolutely destroyed. So this was our worst loss in the league, but honestly, can't feel bad about it because, I mean, one, I think it was a bunch of great lessons to learn from it, both from the team building side and the battling side. And two, like, anytime you lose against someone who brought in really cool stuff, like, that's awesome, right? Like, you get to learn from that. And so props to Steve. I actually watched all his videos before this battle, and I was like, he's such a fun, like, chill guy, and it was really cool to finally get to play him. And yeah, if you guys want some like really entertaining Pokemon content, definitely check him out, because his like commentary and narrations are just so funny, and he's a really great dude. So yeah. I think I lose this anyway, despite the RNG, because he just had a better team and executed it better than me. So we had some tools that were really good. I like the spikes, the rocks, set it up perfectly, but we needed something else to follow up with that from the offensive side, and that just didn't come through this week. So yeah, on the end, like at the end of the day, props to him completely. And I think we still lose that, even if we don't get that crit, even if that crit doesn't happen, honestly. Unless he misses Focus Blast, then the game becomes more interesting, but the odds are in his favor with Focus Blast hitting. So, yeah, it's going to be it for this one, guys. Go check out Steve. He's linked in the description below. Awesome guy. I'm going to be definitely rooting for him to make the playoffs. And next week, we are up against Seabad, so we're 4-3. If we win next week, I think we should be good to make the playoffs. If we lose, though, I think we are probably out, to be honest, because our differential is going to take a big dive after this one. So, it's all going to come down to the last week, and I'm going to definitely be super nervous for that, but I'm going to prep as much as possible going into it. Thanks again for the team building group for helping me come up with ideas. Pretty much all the teams are fully credited to them, and if anything, sometimes I just tweak them here and there, but for the most part, they're building the teams completely. So thanks to the guys there once again, because they've really helped out a lot. And yeah, for this next week, I think definitely going to try to give it my all, and we'll try to push into the playoffs. So thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for rambling on for so much. Just wanted to talk about the matchup, because I think this is one of the good games to reflect in Pokemon. I think people often like look at RNG and be like, oh, this game is like blah blah, but in the end, I think Steve was just better prepped than I was with his team, and there's no shame to losing to that. I think just need to be better in the process. So I'm trying to improve for next week. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one, guys. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys soon. All right, peace.